All right, I had an emergency root canal yesterday. My voice is pretty much the same, but I do have a lisp, and it's because I'm trying to talk without touching the fake tooth that is now in my mouth. So bear with me, and please don't bust my balls in the comments below about my newfound lisp. So let's talk about competitive though, guys, because I do want to break down 5 things you shouldn't do as a solo player in competitive. Now, I preached about solo play, and here's the thing. I was actually going into rank with a team for about the first week, and then after that, I started going in solo. It's been more or less like an afternoon thing. I do it for about 2 hours every other day or whatever, but it's been a slow grind, and solo play is very difficult in Destiny in general, but in competitive, it is almost impossible. But since I put out a video nearly over a month ago stating how to go through competitive as a solo player, I felt that it was only right that I should practice what I'm preaching. And that's what I'm doing here until I get to whatever rank I eventually get to. I'm actually only sitting at around 1500, which is not necessarily terrible, but it's definitely not good either. And here lately, it's been a very, very slow grind in getting up those points incrementally. And honestly, what eventually ends up happening, considering the losing streaks as well as the win streaks, I'll go up maybe 15 points and then drop 45. You know what I mean? So it's just been a back and forth seesaw situation. Do I agree with it? Do I agree with the way ranked is currently in the game? No. But that discussion will have to wait for the video whenever I address it to Bungie in regards to Crucible as well as competitive and ranked. I know I just talked a lot here, guys, but I essentially just wanted to fill you in on the situation with me in competitive right now. So as far as the 5 things you shouldn't do as a solo player, and I can tell you right now, guys, these are the 5 things that will result in me losing a game. Normally, even against really skilled players, I always see a tipping point, an area that you can exploit the other team and get the win out of. But it's these 5 little things, man, that will catch you on your pinky toe and make you lose in those games. First up, always be using team chat. Guys, every competitive game I go into, I either press the select button on my Xbox controller or the D-pad on my PS4 controller, and I hit over to the right to always have team chat available. I actually think on PC, you can permanently have it enabled. But here on consoles, just simply hit right over on the D-pad after you hit the touchpad there or the select button on Xbox. So look, communication is key. And in a no radar situation, and it's already been confirmed by Josh Hamrick, Tocom, no radar will probably remain in competitive. In trials, it's a good chance we're going to get radar back, but when it comes to competitive, they have made it clear that they want to leave it with no radar. So it's in this environment that it's almost a necessity to have open communication. Number 2, this is specific to a game type. Arming too soon in countdown. Now, this is something that I saw the other day. I had a guy on my team and he probably didn't have team chats on, or he would hear me whenever I was telling him not to arm too early. The issue in countdown is when you actually arm a zone or a bomb area, you have to sit on that area. Like, you have to commit. And a lot of times, especially if you're loading in with other solo players, you'll have one guy on your team go to the other side of the map and arm. Now, it takes so long for that bomb to actually go off that even if the enemy team was on the opposite side of the map, they still have time to kill your entire team, pick up power ammo, and take a Sunday walk all the way over to where you're at, kill you, and disarm the bomb. They've got plenty of time to do all of those things. So to me, in countdown, guys, this is something I even preach to the people I carry in trials, you do not want to arm too soon. Play for a pick first, and then arm. Now, if you look around you and your entire team is with you and you see no enemy team, like they're sitting in the back of the map or they're sitting in their spawn, then of course, you can arm. But 9 times out of 10, I see people arm way too soon, and it completely knocks out the element of surprise against the enemy team because they hear where you're arming at as well as the zone when it's actually armed. So they know exactly where you are at that moment. Number 3. And this is going to be something that's dependent on players, but it is the most difficult thing to do as a solo player. Sniping in competitive. We were playing a game the other day. It was coming down to the wire, man. I mean, essentially anything could have worked here. A rocket launcher, a grenade launcher, a shotgun, a fusion. Anything could have worked for this boy, but he had a sniper. Now, I'm not saying he couldn't snipe, But sniping in quick play is one thing. Like it's already somewhat difficult to snipe in quick play. Sniping competitive is way harder. You have no indications of where the team is. And with you being sighted in, you are an easy target for somebody to flank you. Believe me, I love to snipe. I wish I could snipe more. But when it comes to competitive, when you've got nothing there to indicate where the enemy is, and on top of that, if you don't even have team chat on to even ask where people are, picking up a sniper as a solo player is a very bad choice for you and your team. Now, if you're like the sniper god and you have no problems just wiping a whole team, then by God, pick up a sniper. But there's a good chance that that's not the case every time. And even if you are a really good sniper, getting pushed by 2 guys with anti-opes is difficult to counter with any weapon. And so that's why I think shotguns and fusion rifles and a few other weapons is a better choice in dealing with people like that, because that's what you're going to run into a bunch in competitive. Number 4, and this one is huge because I see it so many times in solo queues. Do not abandon your teammates for power. And what I mean by abandoning, if you see power slot there that's just open and your team is not already engaging with the enemy, by all means pick it up. If the entire team has been wiped and it's just you and there's a power slot right there available, pick it up. But if your team is in the midst of a fight, especially at the beginning of the round, you need to be present, whether it's as a meat shield or as someone that's just team shotting, because this is Destiny 2, boys. Out of all the things we say that is the meta, nothing is more meta than effective team shotting. But more so than that, effective damage soaking, meat shielding, being there with your teammates in that initial gunfight normally decides the round and decides the entire game. I see so many people, and mainly this is something that's apparent in Countdown, but I see so many people, the moment a teammate dies, they immediately leave. They immediately bolt and get the hell out of there when they see their teammate die. Now in survival, if you're playing for your life, that's one thing, sure. But even in those situations, even in survival and Countdown, when I see teammates starting to take heat, starting to take damage, it never fails, man. One of the guys on the team always immediately leaves before the fight is even concluded and runs and grabs power. Power can definitely win you games, but against teams of 4, it is very difficult to 1v4 them. And so I would highly suggest engaging with your team at the beginning of the rounds, wait till power pops up, and then if it's open and your team is not actively engaging, then pull away and grab power. My 5th and final point, and this is my biggest pet peeve, I have lost more games because of this reason than anything else. This actually applies to quick play as well as the trials, but especially here in competitive. Guys, quit holding on to your supers. You holding on to your supers until the final round is not helping anyone. Matter of fact, there was a game I lost the other day, and I'm telling the man, use your pole dancer. He's going to try to play a res outside, fellas. He played a res. Use that pole to win this round. We'll have another super ready for next round. Use it. We are about to literally lose this round if we do not use a super. Quit thinking about the round next. The round next is important, yes. The road to victory is very important, but that road means nothing if you lose this round right here, especially in the situation where it's the final round. Dying and losing a game after you used your super and gave it your all is one thing, but dying and still having your super, not even getting it out, this just like takes me back to the mentality of sports, like real sports, man. Leave it all out on the field. And that's what you want to do. I know this is a video game, man, but you want to leave it all out there. And your strongest source of playmaking and kills in this game is your super. So guys, you've got to quit hanging on to your supers, especially in games that are probably going to go really long. Like when you look up at the scoreboard and it says 2-2 or 3-3, just go ahead and expect the game to go really long. You'll probably have a super by that time, which means you need to immediately use it. You'll get it back by the final round, I promise you. But hanging on to your super is not helping you, and it's definitely not helping your team. So guys, those are my 5 things you shouldn't do as a solo player. This is a kind of a casual video, just something that you and I are discussing. These are just the things that jump out to me a bunch whenever I do play solo with other players. If you ever find yourself in a lobby with me, man, and I've had a couple guys over the past couple days, I think I've had close to 3 guys in all the competitive games I've played in the past 2-3 days that have actually cut on team chat and talk to me. Man, I don't bite, I don't jump jump on you, dude. I'm a bro at heart, man. So cut on team chat. There's a lot of cool guys in Destiny. Cut on team chat. Communicate, man. Don't be toxic in any way. Make appropriate callouts, even if your callouts aren't perfect. But even little things like just letting your teammates know, hey, this guy's got a fusion rifle and he's sitting at, this spot or this area. Or even if you can't even tell him an area, just let your teammates know he has a fusion rifle. It can go such a long way in helping each other out. And since no radar is pretty much here to stay in competitive, open comms and open communication is key, as well as a lot of other things on this list that you shouldn't do. Well guys, that is my list. Again, thank you so much for coming and watching this video, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.